Good, excuse me, good morning. Welcome to my channel. My name is Jessie Jagpal. Welcome. Today we have an exciting ghost story that I'm going to tell you in regards to a very popular, very well-known horror movie about the exorcism of Emily Rose. Okay, so I'm going to go into some detail on that in a little bit. So it is based on a true story. So just to kind of give you guys a heads up, I'm sure a lot of you are aware of that. So before we get started though, I am going to do my balloon pop. I have a orange balloon with me here. So trying to think of creative ways to pop this. So for today's experiment, I am going to try to pop this balloon with my hot hair straightening iron. Hair straightener. So here it is. It's plugged in, as you can see. I have my balloon, which I am going to pop. So all I'm going to do is bring it close to the balloon and see how much it takes before it pops. I almost want to wear glasses for this. I don't know why. Okay. All right, guys. Here we go. Ah! Okay, I'm really scared. I hope this works. Is it on? Are you on? Yeah, it's on. Weird. Okay. All right, let's try this again. Wow, you are, let me see if it's even hot. Such a bad. Okay, I'm gonna pinch it because I don't know if the heat's getting to it. Yeah, so I'm gonna pinch the end here. Here we go. No, wow, what is with this? Wow, heat doesn't do anything. I should have used a flame. It is melting, I think. What do they make balloons out of these days, guys? Oh my gosh. I think it literally broke my straightener. Why isn't it popping? What a fail. Pop, pop, pop. Nope, this isn't gonna work. Oh man, I should have gotten a flame. Okay, yeah, that's not gonna work. I'm sorry, guys. That's embarrassing. Okay. So I don't know if this will light up even, but let me give this a shot. I'm so disappointed in this. Of course, this isn't gonna work either. There we go. Okay. Before I burn my hand, flame. We'll try flame. And it went out. It just went out. Oh, this makes me so mad. Okay. Last attempt. If this doesn't work, we'll have to just do it by hand, I guess. It did work. Oh my gosh. Oh, that worked. Yay! How exciting. Okay, so flame will do it. Your straightener apparently won't. So I don't know what that is all about. I think it's the flame. I'll do some research on that. Cool. How exciting. Yay. Welcome. Okay, so let me get some coffee, guys. I just got up like not too long ago and I haven't had anything this morning. Okay, the Exorcism of Emily Rose. Okay, so I'll be honest with you guys, I have never seen the movie. Although I love horrifying, scary movies, I've never seen the Exorcism of Emily Rose. But it is based on a true story. So The real girl that the story is based after was Anneliese. I believe her last name's Michel. She was German. And it was in the late 1970s when the exorcism took place. So it hasn't been that long. Like, it was late 1970s. According to numerous reports, this young girl, when she was inflicted by intense shaking and loss of control over her body, so she was experiencing all of these different things, right? Like, she would have these compulsive shaking. She would, like, you know, not be able to sleep throughout the night. They were noticing really weird traits coming about, you know, like she had this fear of, like, priests and people coming to her house, fear of different, like, religious rituals, and etc. Like, she didn't like it. So confused by her symptoms, the doctors at the time there were doctors. I don't know what their excuse was here, but there were doctors, and they had diagnosed her with the grand mal seizures, right? But over time, her behavior grew worse. So I'm assuming they didn't have the medication or the right types of therapy and services that she needed to get her back on, you know, some stability. So she even began attacking the family members, and then at one point drinking her own urine. So it looks like it wasn't just the seizures were probably impacting her mental state. They got to the point where she was not able to really comprehend what was going on around her. The frustration with people and the things that were going on, not being able to understand anything, led her to attacking her family members. Frustration with, like, the different types of religious acts that were taking place around her caused her to kind of go, you know, lose it. And so she did kind of act like she was going at people. So she did. So she was afraid of religious objects. Her concerned family eventually convinced the priest that they went to perform multiple exorcisms. So it wasn't just one that they performed, it was multiple. Anneliese had died in 1976 of pneumonia, where her last exorcism, before the last exorcism could have been done. So there had been 40 that had been done at the time, and they didn't get through the whole process before she had actually passed away. And she was just a little girl. So the pictures that you'll find online on Anneliese are horrifying. So when you do get the chance, go look them up. But I don't recommend it because they are pretty bad. She was malnutritioned. There were other issues going on with her. So, I mean, it is really sad, but it's what happened. So, and so basically, you can tell just from the way they mention everything that exorcisms were a huge part of life back in the day, and people carried them out regularly. Rather than, even though there were medical doctors, there wasn't a real solution. They couldn't come, you know, the medication really didn't do anything. So they turned to things like that exorcism. You know, they thought people were possessed or something was going on. So, she was German, and she was forced to undergo 67 exorcisms all over a 9-month period. Can you imagine? 9 months is nothing, and constantly being exposed to these priests, and then they're yelling at you, and who knows what else is going on. Of course, a young child or a woman is going to be traumatized by these incidences. So she was also undiagnosed of schizophrenia, and which was that much worse. She died of malnourishment. So there's a debate of what, I think it's probably a combination of all of them. So malnourishment, and also the other one, what was the other one that they had mentioned? I think it was malnourishment, right? Pneumonia. So it was pneumonia, malnourishment. I'm sure they go hand in hand. So it was a horrifying yet tragic story which lives on. And I kind of feel bad for her because even though her incident went misdiagnosed, or you know, she really didn't get to speak for herself, or her diagnosis, she didn't have the proper diagnosis of what she was going through or the resources available to kind of help her through that process. Even the movie itself kind of highlights on the exorcisms and really highlights on the actual possession, being possessed by a ghost or, you know, a spirit of some sort. And really, if you like, I've seen highlights, and I can't speak for the entire movie, like I said, but I've seen, you know, like just trailers of where she's being lifted up into the air. I don't know if there's any resources online that actually states that that was happening, or she was flying across the roof like she was possessed. But I kind of find it hard to believe. I feel like a lot of that is not true, and it's for the purpose of, you know, making money. So I definitely do feel for her. I feel really bad what she had to go through. And if you look at some of her pictures, she looks like a very lovely young child. Like, she's well composed, well put together in her earlier years before she went through these series of exorcisms. In 1976 is when she died. She was 23 years old. And she died of malnourishment. 9 months prior, like I stated, she was going through intense exorcism sessions. That must have been so horrifying. Her family became convinced she was possessed by demons. And like, not one demon, like multiple demons. So she had to go through like a whole bunch of different exorcisms to get them out of her. And imagine if you were trying to speak out and let your anger out and they just thought that was the demon. Can you imagine how frustrating and like how like let down you'd feel? Like, oh my gosh, you know, I have no hope at this point because they're not listening to me, you know, like exorcism after exorcism, but I'm fine, stop, and you're attacking your family for not believing in you. That poor child. Wow. For most of her life, they say that the Michael, who was her father, was a highly devout Christian who believed it was her burden to pay for the sins of others. As a result, she prayed often, went to church twice a week, and even slept on a stone floor as a form of penance. Oh, that is so terrible. Wow. Yeah, these pictures are so sad. So it was clear that her mental health, her mental stage from a young age, she wasn't stable, right? She was mentally ill. At just 16, she suffered from seizures, which caused temporal lobe epilepsy. This would eventually lead to psychosis, depression, schizophrenia, and a series of other mental health issues. So what we classify today as a mental health issue back then was thought of as, you know, being possessed and other things. And I mean, although this is of the past and it hasn't been that long, it was the late 1970s when she finally, that poor young lady passed away. It still happens today. It's still around. People still believe in the process of exorcism, and you know, if in a lot of, I'm sure, smaller underprivileged or whatever you could call it, when they're not educated, or they don't have the right resources, they turn to things like that. You know, they think they're possessed, they think, you know, there's something going on with the child, when in reality they don't know that it's a mental health issue. And so when they act out, or you know, they don't know how to control their anger, if they're bipolar or whatever the reason may be, they blame it on the poor child or the poor individual and say, no, this person is possessed, that's why she's acting out, or she's, you know, talking to me the way she is. Or it's very sad, like, you know, that's where like freedom of, like, you know, expression and speech and everything like that kind of protects us in general. And even now, like, people argue, I don't want to make this political in any way, but I'm just getting really passionate about this, but like, people always believe that, you know, like even with medications and stuff, like they don't like if someone's ill, like not you know, if they disagree, it's their choice. Like, you know, if they can say no to it, like if they don't want to take a certain medication, and whether they're mentally ill or not stable, they have that right to reject and say no. That's their choice for whatever reason. If they feel like someone is shoving it down their throat, or they're, you know, forcing them to take it for whatever reason, they can say no, I don't want to take it. It should be done by choice. You know, in a state where they're going through episodes, they feel like, okay, I can take it, I'm in charge, I'm taking this medication for myself. They know the benefits, why they're doing it. Absolutely. If they end up on the streets, you know, they're not doing well, that should be their choice. Again, if they feel they're happy doing that, or they feel like they're in control of their life, that should ultimately be their right. So again, individuals like her, I'm assuming, again, this is just my opinion, not based off of research, with this type of mental health and seizures, usually end up in like facilities, or, you know, on the streets, but in some form get assistance. This poor individual didn't get help or have the right resources to help her, so ultimately died from malnutrition. So I don't really understand why she was malnutritioned, and why she wasn't being fed, even though she was possessed. Like, does she not deserve to eat food at this point? What's up with that? Like, was she not like, were they trying to like punish her for being possessed? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there was a thinking that she was no longer inside, and it was just demons had taken over her body, etc., etc. Okay, so guys, that was it for today. Thank you for joining me. I'll have to come up with another exciting story for you for my next one. So I hope you all have a wonderful day, and hope you had a wonderful Christmas. Thank you. Bye.